Saturday saw the two Stage 1 semi-finals of the Overwatch League 2019 season, and we now have our two finalists, the Vancouver Titans and the San Francisco Shock. Both of these teams have been highly rated all stage as they come together for a rematch of their game in Week 2, that saw Vancouver come out on top 3-1. So let's quickly see how they got here, as I give you my preview of the final, for my prediction for who will take the Stage 1 crown. Beginning with the Vancouver Titans, after a comfortable 3-0 sweep over the Boston Uprising, they faced off as large favourites against the Seoul Dynasty in a semi-final matchup, their opponents coming off a massive upset over New York. However, the same performance did not manifest itself for Seoul again, as behind Bumper, the aggressive style of Vancouver simply stomped the Dynasty. On some attacks, Seoul utilised Michelle Sombra to finish maps. This normally took a long amount of time before Vancouver would match the same progress much quicker, with particular target focus on Fisher and Fletter. There was even a point on Anubis, where the Titans had 5 minutes to capture the first point, and so they brought out the ultimate trump card, Bumper on Hanzo. This unreal decision saw Hanzo played more aggressively than ever before, acting as a front line for the team and taking up position in the open on the low ground in a manner that Seoul clearly had no idea how to counter. Needless to say, this kind of encapsulated the whole series, as a quick second push on Rialto sealed the 4-0 sweep and locked Vancouver into the finals. San Francisco Shock, meanwhile, faced the Philadelphia Fusion as a reward for convincingly dismantling the Toronto Defiant. Philly came into the match as heavy underdogs like Seoul, and unfortunately for them, the series panned out in a similar, if not even more convincing manner. The Shock dominated most of the map in terms of the mirror 3-3 matchup, with Poco the only real player managing to shine for the Fusion with a few signature diva bombs. Super dominated Sado in the Rhine duel, as expected, whilst Choi Hyobin clearly won the mind games over Carpe, eating his gravitons on multiple occasions. Whilst there were some even teamfights, in the clutch moments particularly, San Francisco came out on top, something that they had been struggling with in the past, in part thanks to Moth, who had another outstanding match. And Philadelphia were punished for terrible ultimate management, especially from Boobox, who used his transcendences often after people died, but before Sinatra's graviton surges, which the Shock then utilised to full effect. In the end, we had a second consecutive 4-0 sweep in the semi-finals, after a crushing Rialto defence from the Shock, so they booked their place in the finals as well. As we now look at the finals matchup, we can see that neither side has dropped a single map so far in the playoffs, with a 3-0 quarter-final sweep before a 4-0 semi-final sweep yesterday, so both sides are riding a lot of momentum. Perhaps the best way to think about how this series will pan out will be by revisiting what happened when the teams last met in Week 2 and see how they've changed since then. The Shock played the Titans at their own game and looked themselves super strong on the 3-3 composition, in which Sinatra was able to outplay Xiaomin Su on Zarya in between teamfights. Violet was making his debut, in which he performed admirably, except for a few poorly timed transcendences, but at the time I put more down to nerves and experience than anything else. On King's Row, the Shock had multiple opportunities to take the map. When it came to the clutch moments, the Titans simply raised their game to another level. Despite a long overtime push from San Francisco, Vancouver were able to match it, for a massive Shatter Diva Bomb combo wiped the Shock and took Vancouver into the half 2-0. On Volskaya, Bumper tried his best to throw the round, killing himself trying to pin a baby diva, but in the end Vancouver were just too strong, and with Haxel cleaning up on Doomfist, the Titans took the third map and thus the series. The Shock managed to take Route 66 in another overtime, as the map showed the Titans were a little unpracticed on Sombra, which they have not run ever since. The previous series, that finished 3-1, highlighted that Vancouver had only two real strengths over San Francisco, and these were firstly their strength on single objective maps like Control and Assault, which were the only ones that weren't very close, and secondly their ability to win in clutch overtime moments. It's fair to say that Shock have significantly addressed both of these areas, with a growing ability to find success on King of the Hill. But more importantly, both of their playoff matches against Toronto and Philadelphia show that the team was able to execute and, importantly, win in clutch overtime moments. If anything, Whilst Vancouver have undoubtedly improved, they have actually shown more weaknesses in their game of late, especially if you can punish Bumper's aggression, as shown by their Chengdu match. Therefore, I spent all of last night thinking about who will win this rematch in the finals, going back and forth, as I'm sure it will be a very close and competitive series, going to 6 or more maps. I finally came to the conclusion in my mind, had San Francisco been clutch in their first meeting, they could have won then, and from that point, in my opinion, they've definitely improved more than I think Vancouver has. So I'm going to predict the Shock to hand the Titans their first loss as they lift the trophy as Stage 1 champions. And with that, we're back tomorrow to talk about the winners of what, regardless of the victor, should be a fantastic match and a great way to cap off Stage 1. If you enjoyed the video, then please like and subscribe as I bring you continuing Overwatch League content.